Well, hello, everybody. It is America's Supermom, and I'm so excited for you to join me today on this segment. I was scheduled to have a guest, but life happens. So the show goes on. So I want to thank you all for tuning in and a little bit about me. I am America's Supermom, mother of 15 children. So I'm excited to share some of my insights, tips, tricks, strategies on how I am able to juggle this thing called life. So, I want to talk really quickly about what our goals are and how we really schedule things or line things up in order for us to be successful when it comes to our goals. Now, I think the first thing to remember is what is it that you can and cannot control? So oftentimes we get this wrong. All these things I'm sharing because I have had personal experience learning how not to do things. So I learned all through my academic career, through college and getting a degree, that it's important to be disciplined, to be consistent, all the different things that are important when it comes to starting out a successful school year, so to speak. And so, all those different lessons that I learned really helped me to be self motivated, to the point to where I can manage what I do. But then it really threw me into a tailspin when it came to being a mother with 15 children because I was used to managing myself in really in control of what my study schedule was, where I needed to be, all this, as an only child. I didn't have any, real interruptions, chaotic snafus. Fast forward to now, life being responsible not just for myself, but for other people in a household. For example, if you don't get dinner done at a certain time, it causes a domino effect to the whole evening being kind of out of whack. So if I designate a specific time for my children to go to bed, that is really dependent on me doing the things I need to do in order for them to be prepped for bed. So, for example, if they don't have clean pajamas, that's where it kind of can end up. They don't have anything clean to wear to bed. Then I've got dinner done late and, all these other things that can be a domino effect that can really infringe upon them being able to accomplish what they need. So, this really was the one catalyst that really helped me to understand that when it comes to our goals, what are the things that we can control and the things that we cannot? So, another thing that made it really beneficial in learning this lesson was having them create a routine when they first got home from school and before they go to bed at night. So if I notice that, okay, we're really down to the wire getting to school in the morning, what are some of the hindrances to this happening? Do they not have their shoes together? Do they not have socks? They don't know what they're wearing. All those things created a boundary or a set of non negotiables that they had to have completed the night before the next day came. So if they were not on top of what they're wearing, their clothes need to be laid out the night before, including socks and shoes or whatever. If it's not having their schoolwork together, everything needs to be in the backpack by the door so that it's ready for the next day. So you see where I'm going with this. So what the thing is that we need to be mindful of is what are some of the hindrances, right? We can talk about all the great opportunities for things to work the way we would like them to. But we all know that that is just kind of fairy tale thinking. Real life is happening. Like you might be able to hear my grandson in the background. He is having a moment with his mom. But that is the ideal scenario that, oh, everything is going to be perfect. We're going to get out of the house at this time. And so we want to be able to make that more practical rather than just this fairy tale dream. So we can apply the same type of mindset when it comes to business. What are some of the things that lead us on that journey of having those fairy tale moments? So if you believe that you want to earn a certain income, what are the key factors that have to be present in order for that to happen? Now, we can make it really basic and say, if you need to make X amount of dollars, you need X amount of clients, right? So if I say I have $1,000 coaching packages and I want to make $10,000, I need 10 clients for to purchase that $1,000 package in order for me to accomplish my goal. Now, that may sound okay, this is basic. However, what does it take to secure a $1,000 client? What is the timeline for that? So, if I had some cookies that I sold individually and they were 50 cents a piece, what would I need to, how many clients or sales would I need to make in order for me to accomplish a goal of $500? Just using that. Now, I could sell them individually to all these different people, which would be 1,000 people if I sold them for 50 cents. Or I could say, how can I kind of strategize with this? I usually do these cookies for 50 cents a piece. Maybe I can package them in a bigger bulk and I can increase the value of the cookies. So I could say, hey, do you need dessert for your kids? Something to kind of keep them occupied throughout the day. When they get home, maybe they are, in a chaotic mood and fussing and arguing. Do you want to kind of put that to rest? I've got cookies. These cookies are great. They keep them full for a few minutes or whatever, I don't know. And I sell them in packages, so instead of them being 50 cent, then the price goes up to $3.50. In addition to this package of cookies, I have a coloring page that goes with it, and it has the crayons that the kids could use. So you see where I'm going. As we begin to pile value on something that we could sell individually, we begin to increase the price of that particular item to something more expensive. However, it has more value associated with it. So we're not just talking about one cookie, we're talking about now a group of cookies. We're not just talking about a group of cookies, we're talking about a way to keep them engaged. Uh huh. This peach cobbler. Okay, a way to keep them engaged and more focus on what we want them to focus on, right? So the kids having a coloring page. So while they're eating their cookie, they could be coloring, right? So we can begin to imprint certain things like, hey, this is a dessert, this is a snack, or whatever. However, when you're having that snack, let's take some time to do something craft oriented or whatever. Okay, so just using that as an example. Now, so what we have done is increase the value, right? So we could say, well, I have a cookie subscription. Every month I have X go on. So we have a different theme. This theme this week, this theme for this month is chocolate chip, and my guest has arrived. So I am so excited to have her here because, life happens. I didn't know what was going on. And, these things just keep us moving, keep us on our toes. So when we think about our goals and we think about the things that we want to aspire to achieve, we want to really begin to map that out in ways that are practical, that they make sense, and we reverse engineer those goals in a way that really are going to serve us, that we're going to be able to be consistent and disciplined with. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. I just wanted to share that quick message with you, but I am so excited to have my guest here. She is going to be talking about automation and a number of different things. So without further ado, I am going to introduce to you Karina. Hey, how's it going?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's very. It's going much better now. I had a little bit of a problem with the link, but
Okay.
I ironed it out. But glad to be here. How are you today?
I am awesome. So I am so glad that you could join us. And, I'm all about, hey, life happening, these things, I am not tech savvy. So it's so funny. I had an interview last week and we were on LinkedIn Live. So this was the first day my guest ever did a LinkedIn presentation. He's all about Instagram and Facebook. So I was like, come on over, share some of your expertise. And we had a storm here in Georgia. So my internet got knocked out. He was on camera. I bumped off. And so it was the funniest thing, but so I'm all about technology taking over. Sometimes that happens. So we are so glad that you could be here today. So before we get into our interview, please introduce yourself and let everybody know what you're up to in the world.
Oh, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. My name is Karina Bell. I'm the founder and CEO of Turtle Bay Payment Solutions, where we work in the credit card and electronic payment space. And we are actually causing some disruption in the space because we're coming into this industry representing and advocating for business owners. Instead of just providing a solution, we are working with our business owners to educate them through transparency and providing insights into the industry. So our owners and our enterprise decision makers are making better informed decisions when choosing the right payment provider for their business or their organization. Many, I know anyone that's in the industry or has credit card payments, the industry is complex.
Mhm.
And when there is complexity in any industry, it opens up the door for let's just say predators to take advantage of those that don't fully understand uh,
Mm.
the options and possibly the what they're paying for. And if
Mhm.
they're paying for too much, or maybe they're paying for things that have no value, or they're paying for something that is just strictly a profit line for a company, and it's not bringing value to an organization. So
Mm.
we come in as the advisor and the consultant for our business owners, um, and work side by side with them instead of
Mhm.
against them to help them really, because it is a service every
Mhm.
single business owner needs. There
Mhm.
are a lot of options, and oftentimes some of the biggest options are not always the best options.
Mhm.
And I run into a lot of frustration and different emotions from business owners that know they may not be getting what they want, but they don't know what their options are out there in the
Mm.
marketplace because it's very noisy, and it comes down to who can I trust a lot of times and that.
Mhm.
So we are a relationship based business, and we spend a lot of time having conversations with our business owners to truly understand their business, understand them as an individual, and where they're currently at, and if there's some opportunity that we can actually help them save a significant amount of money and then also provide them personalized service that so many of our business owners have been asking for and more importantly deserve.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think, you talk about the different forms of payment, and I'm just over here now. It is just amazing how you can go to a fast food restaurant and, they just take this big, huge machine and have it to your door, I mean, to your window, to where you're doing like Apple Pay or Google Pay and all these different things that it is just
Mhm.
amazing to witness how currency is changing. And then, we've got NFTs and crypto coin or Bitcoin and all these different things. So,
Mhm.
I can understand that it can be overwhelming, because I think to a lot of my relatives that, lived back in the day, and this type of situation where things are changing so rapidly can be a little intimidating. If you're not one that is open to a lot of change, you begin to think, man, everything's a scam, and you're afraid to see that some of these things are modern conveniences, more so than someone sometimes trying to scam you. But, what advice would you give somebody who is in that space of like, hey, I only deal with cash? Or, I mean, we talk about checks, and some people are like, what is a check? Because
Mhm.
they've never had to use it. Everything they know is on plastic. So, how do you kind of bridge the gap with that with people who are a lot more conservative?
Oh, that's an excellent question. And I work in a number of high risk industries that are very high cash, high cash only, high
Mhm.
volume.
Mhm.
One element in that is your degree of safety for the person that is handling the cash.
Mm.
If you are in a cash industry and there are people paying attention to that, that can increase your level of risk as far as safety
Mm.
within your store or within the individual that may be carrying a high amount of cash.
Mhm.
There's a number of industries that are very cash heavy, and I've talked to them about that their concern is their individual safety or the storefront safety as well. And
Mhm.
you mentioned checks. With checks, we can actually accept electronic checks
Mm.
where you're not writing a paper check, but just like our e-wallets, our Apple Pay and our Google
Mhm.
Pay and our Samsung Pay, a lot of people have that right on their phone, so they can use that as an electronic form of payment. One example is text to pay, where say I provided a service, I went to your home and I replaced your windshield. Your car was in the driveway. I replaced your windshield. You're in your office. I text you and say, you're just replaced your windshield, ma'am. Everything is done. Here's the link to pay. Have a great day. Here's my number if you need anything else. And I don't know about you, but I pay attention to my text more than anything else. And if, say, my landscaper comes, he says, "Just mowed your lawn, Miss Bell. Here's your invoice." I'm going to click. I'm going to hit pay, and I'm going to be on my way. Now, if an invoice comes into my mailbox, I might sit on it a week or two, and when I get around to doing my bills and things like that. So, from a business owner standpoint, it creates a touchless transaction, and
Mhm.
it also creates a transaction that people are more inclined to pay quicker. A lot of folks that are out in field services, and that a text to pay option is something that has become increasingly welcome, and people are super excited about it because they
Mm.
don't have to carry a physical device now to actually swipe a card, which can
Mm.
break, it can get lost. Uh,
Mhm.
a number of different things can happen. And again, it's creating that contactless solution as well, which now more than ever, I don't think we're going to move closer to contact where, there's always
Mhm.
that degree of separation people are going to want to maintain going forward.
Mhm.
And and to your earlier point where you said there's so many options out there, I have to share this because I thought this was cute. One of my I did a post on social media about text to pay, the feature,
Mhm.
and she came to me. She goes, "Oh my gosh, do I need to have that feature? I don't have that." And I said, "No, no, 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 no. For your business model, this is not this is not a feature that fits with your business model. It would not be
Mhm.
value added to your organization." I reassured her. I said, "Now I would call you if it was, and we would have that discussion." But again, she saw the option out there, and she's like, "Should I have this?" And
Mhm.
again, that's where you really need someone who is trusted to say, that really doesn't fit into your wheelhouse versus somebody that says, absolutely, let me sign you up as quickly
Right.
as possible. Again, it's, how can we keep our costs low as
Mhm.
possible? We're not paying for bloated stuff we're not going to use,
Mhm.
and making sure that we're not paying for things that are extraneous to our business, that it truly aligns and supports our business with room to
Mhm.
grow in the future if you need to. But
Mhm.
that's something I see a lot of where solutions are presented of what you could grow into versus this is what you need today. And
Right.
then we have the option to grow into it as your business needs to.
I love that because I think, it sounds like what many business owners go through. It's the shiny object, or the squirrel. You're going along doing
Mhm.
fine. You see something on social media. And I love that because, you're someone that has a relationship with them. And
Mhm.
so they're watching what you're doing. And so when they see you make a post about something, then it's like, hey, where is this fitting in my wheelhouse? I want this because you mentioned it, and so I think, and I really appreciate you taking the time to educate the person about it because so often, we can accomplish the same thing with something that fits for them. Let's say if I want a casual outfit and I want some denim jeans, I'm only 5 foot. So if you're, posting something for someone who's 5'7", that's not going to work for me. But you could
Mhm.
say, okay, I see you want denim. Let's find something customized for you. So I appreciate that because I think we've gotten away from a lot of that, being able to actively listen. A lot of us are trying to be cookie cutter and just have one product that serves everybody, thinking about the masses rather than really being intentional and saying, is this something that they really could benefit from?
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Hmm.
it is because there are so many options out there. A confused mind is one that won't make a decision.
Right.
Or if they're confused, they may be guided to a decision that may not be in their best interest.
Hmm.
And that's where um, we'd like to quiet that noise,
Hmm.
present the information, and then make a very conscious, informed decision going forward.
Love that.
Because I'm the same way too. I get shiny, shiny syndrome myself. I have to, pump the brakes on myself and say, whoa, 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 wait a second. Is this truly something I need to go pursue? Is this value added for me personally or professionally?
Hmm.
Things like that. But I'm not immune to it. I'm
So
not
true.
immune to it at all. And
So true.
I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not. So
Hmm.
I know when I need to go and get advice from people that can um, guide me in
Hmm.
my best interests as well. And so
Hmm.
that's where I really and that's where my passion lies is advocating for other folks because I have trusted advocates in my corner as well that are helping guide me.
Hmm. So true. Now we actually got connected on Clubhouse,
We did.
and great platform, social audio app. Really helping a lot of business owners to make great connections, as well as the information and content that's out there is, a lot of times priceless when it comes to how we can move forward, navigate through a lot of the new things that may be happening in real time. So, when it comes to some of the presence that you have in social media, how do you determine where is the best place for you to show up? Because, we've got Clubhouse, we've got Wisdom and Discord and all these other things. I'm like every day I'm finding
Mhm.
out about something new, and I'm like, this is crazy. I can't be all these different places. And I'm sure you can even appreciate this with the forms of payment that you're dealing with, when you're servicing a lot of your clients. So, what are some advice that you could offer us about, really knowing where to show up and how to have that presence in a lot of these places, but making it manageable so that we can be successful in whatever industry we're in rather than, chasing every form of social media that's out there.
Yeah, and you have a great point. We cannot be everything to everywhere.
Mhm.
And we don't want to serve everyone or we can't
Mhm.
serve everyone nor do we want to serve everyone. And my career has always been in IT. I have over 30 years of experience in enterprise IT, so I'm going to go back to my data. aspect.
Mm.
To
Mhm.
answer your question, uh, me personally, I would partner with a trusted marketing firm that can
Mm.
provide me the data analytics
Mhm.
of the avatar, the audience that I am truly targeting that really needs to hear my message,
Mhm.
and my emphasis on need. Because, like for me, my target audience, I have different verticals that I target.
Mhm.
But what I'm looking for are those owners and those enterprise decision makers that need and want our services. Not everybody needs it, not everybody wants it. So I have to develop that criteria of what that avatar looks like, and then work with my marketing firm to really get specific about it.
Mhm.
And when I say specific, it doesn't necessarily mean narrow, but it's very specific.
Mhm.
So that and I would have, if you don't have a marketing agency that fits that bill, I
Mhm.
would have them show you data of
Mhm.
how they have a targeted audience for a business owner in the past. What was their starting point? What was their end point? How many leads did they gain? How many conversions to clients did they gain
Mhm.
through
Mhm.
their solutions?
Mhm.
That's something that I know a lot of folks are challenged with, is that, there are a lot of marketing agencies out there. So you have to find one that is aligned with you and
Mhm.
truly understands and listens to your vision and what it is you want to accomplish, and help them guide you. I think one of the biggest challenges business owners face is they are a DIYer in everything
Mhm.
about their business. And again, I'm a technical nerd. I am not a creative. So
Mhm.
that is not my wheelhouse, and I know that. And
Mhm.
so I need, again, my trusted advisor, I need guidance in that area. You tell me what
Mhm.
you need from me, I'll tell you exactly what I'm looking for, and then this is where we're going to get the results we need.
I love that. And it really is such a testament to knowing who you are and what you can deliver. And I think sometimes we forget about that. We think, oh, we say all these things, but never really expect to be called out on them, so to speak. We're
Mhm.
trying to talk every language that we can to resonate with a bigger audience. And then we end up speaking to nobody, or we have a lot of people that convert and they are expecting us to do stuff that we really are not well versed in,
Mhm.
because we are trying to say what we think we want them to hear rather than really honing in to explain what we bring to the table. Because a lot of times, the disconnect is that actual piece of them understanding what you do, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of people feel like me and they seem like they're so well versed and clear. So if I don't understand what they do, maybe something's wrong with me, rather than getting more clarification on, what it is that somebody does. I mean, we have to think about that. So, even just what you do when it comes to being able to translate that value that you provide when it comes to form of payment, what are some tips that you can give people to be able to simplify their message? Because I think, when you say IT, I'm like, hey, I know she can start talking some stuff and I wouldn't know the first thing about what she's talking about because you're an expert, right?
Mhm.
And it's been years that you've done it where it's second nature to you. But for me, I'm like, hey, that's where the conversation ends because I don't have a clue. But I think each of us has our own gift that way where we can start going off on a tangent with this topic, and people are like, wait a minute, you lost me way back at the beginning. So, how do we make that communication to where people feel confident and comfortable to be able to express what they need, and we're able to communicate it in a way that they can understand?
I think a lot of that has to do with your reflection back to them, because
Mhm.
we, as I think, just as a human race, We
Mhm.
communicate and we think we are clear in what we're communicating. And then when we either deliver or we write it down or we reflect back what we think we heard, oftentimes it's inaccurate.
Mm.
In IT, we were always providing solutions we thought the client needed, not necessarily what they wanted. That was
Mm.
one of the challenges that we were continually faced with, in how I know for me personally, I developed my communication skills in being probably overly detail oriented. Um,
Mhm.
when it comes to communicating, especially when you're communicating expectations or deliverables or
Mhm.
objectives, I don't
Mhm.
think you can have too much detail and you can't communicate it enough. If it's something that is being built or it's something that is taking some time, have frequent communications and the flexibility to adjust
Mhm.
how you get there along the way. You know, the end goal shouldn't change until you achieve the end goal. How you get there should have the fluidity to adjust to your resources,
Mhm.
expertise, whatever is available to you at that time. But the communication, I think, is a state the objective, reflect that objective back, and restate it and adjust it, and until you are certain and the other person is certain you are on the same page and you're moving forward in lockstep.
I love that. I mean, and I think, you mentioned a great point about reflecting back, because I think, you know, most of the time when we get into a conversation, sometimes the conversation is the other person is somewhere else. We have to bring them back to the conversation. And this happens a lot on Clubhouse. You've got a topic, it seems clear, people are on stage, next thing you know, you're way off left field with something that wasn't even what the topic was about. But I say that because I think we have to be engaged and intentional and present, because you can have those moments, like, you tell somebody, okay, what do you want from your business? And they go off in dream mode, and you're trying to bring them back to reality, or you're going off and, oh, yeah, I see this for this. And then they're like, wait a minute, you lost me with that first example. And so we're constantly in this situation of trying to bring both of us present. So the fact that you reflect and have that mindset, I think that is huge, because we oftentimes skip over that step, and we're each with our own version of answering that question, but it's not lockstep at all. So I appreciate that you said that, because we can get ahead of ourselves. We're thinking about, oh, this person's getting ready to be a sale. We're thinking about how we're going to use those resources, thinking about another piece of software we can buy with this purchase or whatever. And they're doing something else, and we never really connect on what it is that we are working to with for each other.
And I think something that we need to put emphasis on is, no matter what industry you're in, a lot of times when we're working with a client, our questions become rote and
Mm,
they become very high level, and we're missing a lot of detail in the detail.
mhm,
So if you are purchasing a service from me, uh, and you say, you know what, I would like 15 widgets,
mhm.
a lot of people will say, great, got it, and they're off, they're running.
Mhm.
The quality of the data you get depends on the quality of questions you ask. So
Mm.
you say you want 15 widgets. Great. We can accommodate that. We can support you there. How will you use those widgets? What will you use those widgets for? Who's your
Mhm.
target market for those widgets?
Mhm.
When you create more thoughtful questions around the service you're providing and what the client thinks they want, through
Mhm.
that further in-depth conversation, it will better paint a clear picture for you and how they're going to use what you provide for them. And how they
Mm.
use it may actually alter the approach and what you're going to deliver to them.
Mhm.
Did that
That
make sense?
makes that makes a lot of sense, because what came up for me is even understanding the thought process behind it, can help you with maybe even having an upscale that you don't necessarily have to communicate, but you can add it to whatever you deliver. So, for example, let's say they have a widget that they want to use for, I don't know, gift boxes. That's a part of a subscription or something. And then you have that widget housed in a certain type of packaging, right? That really is an upsell for something. And that is able to be a visual that they can understand and see, that can show them the added value rather than you trying to explain it to them. So I think that is really key, because this is a way that you can get your customer, but get them in a way that they can see it as a visual. Because I think that's the main thing, is that we all have visions of where we want to be. And a lot of times we don't have that prototype to demonstrate it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times when it comes to being able to see something and connect on that, that is really another part of being seen and heard by the customer, as well as by the person that's providing this value, because it allows you to connect on something, whether they decide to go with that packaging or not. But it's an even deeper um, ability to figure out, well, okay, maybe I don't like blue. I love that bag or whatever, but can we have it transparent, or can we have it in a different color? And it just totally sets an even deeper connection that helps you to think about or show yourself worthy of being able to provide that value for them even before they even thought they needed it.
Mm-hmm. And you may be able to expand on that for
Mhm.
them. Say, oh, I wanted these white bags because I'm targeting wedding venues or
Mhm.
bridal showers. Oh my goodness, you know what? Did you ever think of working in this industry as well? This same
Mhm.
thing, and it's a unrelated industry, but
Mhm.
because of your expertise, you're like, wait a minute, this could go like gangbusters over here. So you're helping them to
Mhm.
expand their vision as well, and expand their revenue streams potentially, and help them scale and grow their business.
So
That's
true.
something I think about too. Is I don't know if you're familiar with Guy Kawasaki. Uh,
Yeah, I'm familiar with him. I
he wrote,
haven't met him yet. Look, every time I have to clarify, because it's like these are people that could be great guests, okay, on my
yeah,
podcast. So if
the
you have a connect, hey, let me know. I would love to have him on.
I don't know him personally, but years ago I read his book. It was called The Art of the Start.
Mhm.
And it's a book I recommend to any business owner, regardless of where you are in your business owner journey. One of the things he mentioned, and I've carried with me since I read that, was whatever it is you're doing,
Mhm.
look to unconventional industries that you can serve, because unless you're doing something for the first time in the world, which is rare, there's a
Mhm.
lot of competition in whatever it is you're doing, and
Mm.
people get caught up in replication instead of
Mhm.
innovation. And he
Right.
said, take what you're doing and be bold, push boundaries,
Mhm.
see if those solutions or those products have a place somewhere else that you may not have thought of.
Mhm.
And
So true.
and us as service and product providers, as business owners, that's on us. When we can
Mhm.
find that creativity and we can find those new avenues for those clients that we're serving, again, that's going to build that trust in that partnership as well.
Mhm.
That you're not just thinking about how you can best serve them here, you're thinking about how you can best serve them here, 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 and here.
Mhm. I
So,
love that.
yeah, it's really reaching beyond the boundaries of whatever it is that we offer.
Mhm.
How can we offer more? How can we add fries to that order?
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, so it's again, it's over delivering. You know
Mhm.
what? Mediocre. The mediocre lane is packed. It's
Yes.
extremely busy.
Yeah.
The lane where expectations are exceeded
Mhm.
is not busy. It is
So
not busy.
true.
And businesses can really set themselves apart by exceeding their clients' expectations.
Mhm.
And in a world of mediocrity, it doesn't take a whole lot to exceed expectations.
So true. I mean, that is a great point. And I think also, when you mention going the unconventional route, it allows you to really hone in on your skills.
Hmm.
And I think this is where we get distracted. We're gifted in singing, for example. So you're so busy trying to compete amongst a lot of singers rather than thinking about maybe an experience. And then you begin to say, oh, I can sing in Vegas, at the whatever casino that has regular shows, so you can begin to niche down, but in doing that, you can get more for your craft because you're able to really focus on the quality more so than the quantity of being out there singing every day amongst thousands of people. You're able to focus on how you want to define your brand and show up and all these other things. So I love that illustration. That was great that you mentioned that about Guy and what he shared.
Yeah,
So,
it was something that was so unique to me, and it's been a game changer for me as well.
mhm,
And I share that
mhm.
with everyone I can because I think it can change a lot of people's games.
Definitely. I think mindset is everything. And, we hear a lot about masterminding, about different ways that we can come to common experiences when it comes to business, and how just shifting our thoughts can really open us up to even new ways of thinking about how we can show up in our industry, the different people that we can serve, just like what you mentioned. So, I think that is amazing. My grandson's over here doing all kind of stuff in
Oh,
the back.
your intern is there helping. I love it. I love
Right,
it.
right.
Uh, well, and one thing I do want to emphasize to business owners is don't do it alone.
Mhm,
When talking about different industries and things like that, when I'm really looking for creative ideas,
mhm,
I talk to people that know very little about what I do because I'm looking for the ideas. I don't
mhm,
want you to be deluded by what I do. I want you to be creative with the ideas that I'm trying to nurture and grow.
mhm,
So when I'm looking to do something different, I look to people that are furthest away from what I do, and that's where I
mhm.
get the best results from.
I love
And
that.
and I try not to give too much information. I need just enough to get that really raw, organic feedback,
Mhm.
and then go out and pick those that really resonate and have some teeth.
So
Go
true.
test the market.
And I love that because to me, what that symbolizes is being able to explain what you do in a simplified manner, because somebody who totally isn't even in your industry should be able to understand the value that you provide.
Hmm.
And if we're around people that are like us all the time, understanding that we're not going to see the blind spots. It could be a simple question that someone asks outside of our industry that really can be the game changer with allowing us to connect and convert a lot more people. So I appreciate that you share that. Well, this has been a great conversation. I mean, I could go on for hours with the questioning, because it is so much value in asking the right questions. So what is the best way for the audience to get a hold of you?
Oh gosh, they can reach out to me via our website,
Mhm.
turtlebayps.com. My email, uh, Karina, Karena, at turtlebayps.com. Or
Okay.
they can call me directly. My phone number is 843-804-7151. I'm out on Instagram as well, karina.bell1. Uh, but yeah, I'm out there. People,
I love it.
you can
Yeah.
find me. You can find
Well,
me. I'm not hiding.
I love that. That is so true. Yeah, we got to be out there when it comes to social media. You have to show up and have a presence. So I appreciate that. So we want to thank everybody for being here, joining us today on this episode.
Mhm.
Karina, your insights have been just valuable. And I want to give you the opportunity to kind of share your final thoughts and what do you want us all to kind of take away from this conversation?
Oh my goodness. I think in any aspect of your business, if something doesn't feel right, one of my favorite sayings is if it doesn't smell right, taste right, feel right, or hear right, find somebody that you trust that can align with that to give you confidence in your decisions, regardless of what aspect of your business it is. As
Mhm.
business owners and business leaders, we do not have all the answers. The decisions do fall on us to make. And I know I have a trusted inner circle to help me with my gaps and my blind spots, as you had mentioned earlier in the past. That means more to me than anything.
Mhm.
And I think we really need to take our ego out of our business, out of our titles, out of our roles, and be very humble that we don't have all the answers, we don't know everything, and every person we meet has a potential answer to every challenge we face, and be
Mm.
open to listen to other people to learn and not listen to respond,
Mhm.
and take in. I have met so many tremendous people in my journey so far, and I love meeting people everywhere I go.
Mhm.
And I hope I leave them with something, and they always leave something with me.
Mhm.
Uh, I, so yeah, and don't go it alone. It shouldn't be lonely as a business owner or a business leader,
Mhm.
regardless of who you are and what organization you are. It shouldn't be lonely.
I love that. I mean, that is great words of advice. And I resonate with a lot of that because, I was on this road of really thinking, hey, I had all the answers and it's stress ridden and, a lot of anxiety because you feel like, oh, I need to be perfect. But the minute you kind of rest in knowing that, it's impossible to know everything. I may
Hmm.
feel like I'm well versed in the news and then 5
Hmm.
minutes later, there's a different story. So I love that you shared that because a lot of us fall into that trap of thinking, oh, well, I know my industry. Therefore, I know everything I need to know, with reason. And that type of mindset is not just for your industry, but we take it everywhere with us in different areas. So that was some great advice. And it really has transformed my thinking and how I conduct myself when it comes to businesses and everything. So thank you so much for that nugget, treasure, however you want to say it, Jim. We've got so many different terms that we have acquired through Clubhouse alone. So that was amazing.
It is. Well, thank you. Thank you. I
Mhm.
appreciate the platform and the opportunity to share my insights and my perspective. One thing I will end with one more thing. Uh,
Mhm.
for everyone out there, regardless if you're a business owner or not, one thing I challenge everyone to do is change the word failure in your vocabulary to feedback.
Mhm.
If you pursue feedback instead of being afraid of failure, your perspective on addressing challenges and new things and the unknown changes dramatically. The only time you truly fail in life is when you quit, and don't ever quit.
Love that. That was a game changer for me too, because we have embraced this mindset about failure and failing forward, and feedback has been my word. And I liken it to doing a science experiment. You start off with a hypothesis and you find out all the things that didn't work. Not that it was a failure, but those things that didn't work got you closer to finding out the true answer to your
Mm-hmm.
scientific experiment. So I think we can appreciate feedback better. And if we begin to embrace that, it's not a situation where we feel that people are criticizing us or doing something negative. We are just merely getting more data that we can use that can help us to move forward. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
Don't just embrace feedback, pursue it. Pursue it with vigor, because that feedback is going to guide us to the successes we are seeking. And when you
Hmm.
pursue it, it's going to accelerate your success. Because so many
So,
times people hesitate to take action because of their fear of what
hmm.
may happen, instead of being excited about something happening and
Hmm.
then responding to it, and moving forward. Always keep your focus on that bigger goal, and
Hmm.
it's going to keep you navigating through everything.
Well,
To
and I
win.
mean, even like what you said, having that mindset when you do take that action, it can continue to help you to move forward, because if you're having a negative impact about something that occurs, you're going to lose time. You're going to
Hmm.
be stuck, and you got to get remotivated and all these other things. But if you have that excitement, you can focus on the things that are going to help you continue to go. It's just like when you're rock climbing, you're
Hmm.
looking for that next first step to take. You're kind of getting a sense of where you're at. You grab here, then it's like, where am I going to grab next? And you have more focus when it comes to thinking what's going to be the thing that's going to keep me moving rather than stopping me. So I love that. That was great.
Hmm.
Hmm. Well, this has been wonderful. We really appreciate all of you guys that have joined us today. And if you're watching the replay, something later on in the day, feel free to ask your questions through the comments, and we will make sure that we get those to Karina and connect you guys for. I think conversation is the best thing. Being able to have a dialogue and to get some things out and express them to another person is the first step to moving forward and being in a different mindset. So, we thank you guys so much for joining us, and we welcome all of your feedback in the comment section, whatever that looks like. So, until next time, we ask that you think about to incorporate some of the lessons that we discussed here, whether it is, really opening ourselves to admit the things that we don't know, or consciously going after with intention opportunities to get that feedback so we can continue to be better. So we thank you again for watching, and we'll see you all on the next episode. Bye for now.